Hey guys, it's Jade back with another video, and today we are continuing our 50-state cryptid series with the Specter Moose from Maine, which happens to be where I go to college. So I'm excited for this video. I hope you guys are too. But without further ado, let's get right into the story. Okay, so Specter Moose from Maine. Let's get started. In 1891, a huge white moose was first seen in Maine by Clarence Duffy of Old Town, a hunting guide working around Lobster Lake. Though he did not get near enough to the animal to take a shot, he could see him plainly. Horrified by the encounter, he was laughed at when Duffy told his story. However, a few months later, a Bangor lumberman named John Ross, also at Lobster Lake, saw the big moose as well. With the second sighting, some people began to start believing. That same year, a New York hunter saw the big moose near oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher this name. Sourdnoughts Lake, and fired several slugs into it, without the slightest apparent effect, except for making it angry. The moose then charged at the man, who took refuge in a bear cave, where he remained for about an hour before the large animal sauntered away. However, these tales were still mostly discounted until New York City sportsman Howard Van Ness saw the big moose and shot him several times in 1892. This event occurred about 30 miles northeast of Norcross when Van Ness and 3 other New York men were hunting. When he shot the moose, Van Ness was separated from his companions, which he described as weighed a ton and as tall as a camel, with magnificent head and antler. After his shot hit the animal just above the shoulder, the moose let out a deep bellow and grunt before coming after Van Ness, who took shelter beneath a tangled mass of fallen trees and branches. The moose then circled the area at tremendous speed and once jumped over his hiding place before finally giving up and running away. Afterward, many hunters began to look for the great white moose, but it wasn't seen again until 1895. At that time, a Bangor taxidermist named Granville Gray spied the moose at a distance. A few years later, in 1899, Gilman Brown of West Newbury, Massachusetts, got close enough to the moose on Roach River to count 22 points on one side of his antlers. Usually, moose antlers rarely have more than 8 to 12 points on a side. Brown also fired 5 shots at the large animal, which glowered at him and stalked majestically away. The Specter Moose, called such because of its white or light gray coloring, is said to stand about 10 to 15 feet tall and weighs nearly 2,500 pounds, and has an immense set of formidable antlers that stretch from 10 to 12 feet across. In comparison, an average male moose in Maine at the time weighed about 800 to 900 pounds and stood around 6 feet tall and had an antler span of about 4 to 6 feet. The story gained national attention when described in a New York Times article in November 1899. More sightings followed in the coming years, with one reported in 1901. Now I can say the word 19, bro. When a hunter from Boston, Massachusetts spotted the beast near Chairback Mountain in the Katahdin region. In 1906, George Nealand of Sherman, Maine, came close to the moose while bicycling on the road between Sherman and Macawak. At first he thought it was a horse, but when he decided to stop and take a closer look, he was surprised to determine that it was a very large white moose. Suddenly, the immense beast charged at him, and Nealand was forced to climb a tree to safety. After investigating the bicycle, the moose vanished into the forest. In addition to its massive size, many reports also described the moose as glowing faintly, having the ability to simply disappear, and walking through solid objects. Hunters often said they could never get near enough to shoot it, and on the few times they did, the animal was unhurt. In the following years, the moose appeared in waves of sightings, one of which occurred in 1917, only to disappear for a few years before it was seen again. Though albino moose are extremely rare, they do exist, and skeptics often attribute those sightings to albinism. In fact, an area of Ontario, Canada is called the White Moose Forest due to its uncommon number of sightings of white moose, which the locals call spirit moose. However, albino moose have eyes of a pink hue, and the Specter Moose has brown eyes. I don't know why I can't read today, guys. Further, the size of this moose is an anomaly in and of itself. Moose can also suffer from a condition caused by an infection of winter ticks that causes the lighting of the animal's coat. However, this condition also causes the moose to rub off most of its hair, and their bodies are described as skinny and emaciated, which does not fit the description of this giant beast. Regardless of the skeptics, the locals take this beast quite seriously. Another rash of sightings occurred in 1932 and then again in 1938. In the later years, most of the Specter Moose were seen in forests of the Chesuncook region along the West Branch of the Penobscot River. Why do all these words have to be things I can't pronounce, bro? I'm so sorry if you're from Maine and I'm butchering your words, bro. One vivid report came from a hunter named Houston who got a good look at the beast when he came along a herd of about 16 moose with 3 males watching over grazing females in a group. Two of the males were large, healthy moose, but the third was of great size, making the others look like pygmies, and was of white, luminous coloration. When Houston turned his back for a moment and then looked back, the large white moose was gone, seemingly having vanished without a trace. Other stories are even more bizarre. One tells of a group of hunters near the Molunkus stream in east-central Maine that killed a prominent white moose. Afterward, they slit its throat and hung it from a tree overnight so they could skin and dress it the next day. However, the white moose was gone when they awoke the next morning. That night, the dead and vanished moose walked into their camp with its throat still cut. The hunters shot at it again, but the moose was unfazed and walked away. It was later seen near Ashland, some 90 miles to the north, at which time it was shot again with no effect. Some tales say the moose appears when something bad is about to happen. This allegedly occurred in Franklin shortly before the town's restaurant burned down in 2002. Questions remain today about whether this large creature is simply a very large breed of moose with a rare and anomalous color pattern, or if it's a mystical glowing animal that has roamed this region for over a century. In either case, the creature remains a local legend that has accumulated volumes of local lore over the years. Alright guys, that's going to be all for today's story. This is an interesting one. I'm not sure what I think about this one. I don't know if I believe that the Specter Moose is real, but yeah. I guess it could really just be a really big white moose. Like I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you're from Maine and you've heard of the Specter Moose, because I don't really know what to think of this one. So yeah, but that's all we have for today. Next week is gonna be Maryland with Chessie, which is like a serpent-like creature that lives in the water. So similar to the Loch Ness Monster, but different because obviously it's its own thing. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.